You're listening to the Make It Matter show with Ryan C. Greene, the show all about creating life of unforgettable impact and abundant fulfillment. I'm Ryan C. Greene. Let's get into today's show. Welcome to another episode of the Make It Matter podcast. I am your host, Ryan C. Greene, and we have a great one for you today. You know, you've been following our previous episodes. You know, we have spotlighted all of our authors who have been part of our book project. And now we are now we're ready to spotlight other phenomenal people who are making it matter in the world in their own way. So today, our first non-project cohort, whatever you want to call it, we have Mr. Karim R Ellis with us. Welcome, man. Welcome to the show.
Well, it's a pleasure, a privilege, and obviously an honor to be here today, right?
I am excited about having you. One of the things I love about doing shows and being a host, I get to meet interesting people. I get to go out there. If I find someone who I like, say, hey, let's talk. And, you know, most time people are willing to talk because it's radio, TV, whatever. But I like that. And even, you know, especially with you, you reached out to us. So I appreciate that as well. So I'm looking forward to the conversation, looking forward to the value you're going to bring to our audience. So I'll give you a quick synopsis, and then you can go and let us know really who Karim R Ellis is. You know, he's a national, international motivational speaker, breakthrough strategist, a leadership expert, and an author. But what does that mean? When people experience Karim, what are they going to get?
So what I tell people all the time, you're looking at a person that's full of flaws, that's fractured, but learn how to pull it all together and get really, really focused. It's my core belief that locked deep inside each individual, there's a 2.0 version of yourself just waiting to break out, right? And so as a speaker, a teacher, a breakthrough strategist, a coach, and an author, my job is to help individuals of greatness break through their 2.0 shell to give the world what they deserve versus what they're settling for.
Man, you sound right in line with what this whole project is about. So I'm excited to get into this because the Make It Matter is all about how to create an unforgettable impact and abundant fulfillment. And it especially deals with where we are right now because, and I know we're going to talk about that, where we are right now, people have experienced this global shutdown, the pandemic, the economic downturn that a lot of people have faced, and they're stuck looking like, hey, what really matters? What do I want to do with the rest of my life? If it all ended today, have I lived the most fulfilled life? Have I lived the most impactful life? So when you talk about 2.0, I want to jump right into that because you really give some tips, some pointers, some secrets on how people can really do that, how they can start that 2.0 specifically now after dealing with COVID-19. So what can we look for? What should we be doing?
Well, first of all, what I tell people is you have to really, really be clear about whether you're living your life by default or design. I'm gonna say that again, whether you're currently living your life by default and design. And the reason I say that, I'm sitting here holding, ironically, some more iPad technology, right? I'm holding my iPad. I got this a few years ago. You see the ring light in the background.
Right.
And when I got this iPad originally, I got it for my speaking business. I didn't like the idea of lugging around a MacBook and having to plug it in. I like the fact of holding an iPad with an earpiece and being able to touch the screen and watch things go off. It was easier and simplistic for me. But here's the catch. When I got this iPad, it came on default settings. It came on default settings. So that means it was my responsibility to go out to the App Store and take a look at all the applications I'm going to need to download in order to use this iPad for its desired results. So I have to go in there and get a couple of audio recording tools or applications, right? I had to get a couple of video recording applications. I do a lot of memes on social media, on Instagram. So I had to get a lot of, I would say, imagery applications, things like that, right? But remember, those applications did not come on this iPad. This iPad came on default settings. And so in order for me to go out there and figure out what it needs, that means I first have to understand what's my proper usage for it. Why do I have it? What do I want to use it for so I can achieve a desired result? The problem with most of us, we live our life on default settings, right? Wow. So until we get crystal clear about what it is we want in life, who we're called to be, what we want to do, and where we want to go, and most importantly, who we're put here to impact on a daily basis, we'll live our life by default instead of design. When I live my life by design, that means the education I go after on a regular basis changes. right?
Right.
And what I do with my money on a regular basis changes. The people I strategically connect with on a regular basis, it changes. Even some of the romantic relationships I entertain, it changes because now I know where I'm headed. Thus, we introduce the concept of GPS my success. The tagline on the book is the address determines the destination. Why? Because I believe a GPS is a vision machine. And a vision machine is useless till you first decide what address you want to put inside your life's GPS. So until you get clear about where you want to go, a GPS can do nothing for you. But that means I have to stop living my life by default, which is accepting everything life throws at me, and start living my life 100% by design so I can get the achieved results that I'm searching for in this season.
Man, you said a lot right there, and man, it's so on point because I'm just listening to you because even by default, like that Mac, I mean the iPad, it still works. When we live our life by default, we still work, we'll still function, we'll still go through some things, but we're not getting everything out of us that we should if we're not living by design. So man, I love that. Now you talk about your book is called GPS My Success. Tell us about the book. You're talking about the 5 core principles from your in this book. So talk to us about the book, what it is, and how it's going to help people.
So GPS My Success was actually a keynote that I've been given for close to about 8 years at this point in time. I've given it to major organizations from Toyota to General Electric, to Honda, to Ford Motor Company, United States military, United States Postal Service. So I've given it on a variety of different stages. And it wasn't until I met Mr. Les Brown, who's my current mentor, who said, hey, you got to take this concept and bookmatize it, so to speak, right? Because there's folks that may be outside the country or may not have the ability to get to a place where you give this presentation. So you want to always be of value. So when we talk about GPS My Success, it means literally that. And I said it earlier, I talked about the concept of vision. I'm a scriptural guy, right? So I'm not here to preach religion to anyone on here. I don't want to offend anybody. But one of my favorite scriptures in the book of life says, write the vision and make it plain. Now notice it didn't say write the vision and make it convoluted, write the vision and make it confusing. It said write the vision and make it plain. Another word for plain is clear. Why? Because the way the mind processes things, it's easier to go after a goal and dream when we move with clarity versus confusion. What happened with a lot of people in the year of 2020 when COVID-19 shut everything down and shut down our way of life, we got forced into a stage of forced change, right? So a lot of people woke up and the world was turned upside down. I tell people it's almost like someone rolled the dice and left us in the game of Jumanji and just walked off, right? And left us trapped on level 7, and we're waiting on someone to roll the dice to get us out. So the idea of being with this book is all about helping individuals of greatness understand, number one, why you should have a vision for your life. Why you should have something you're going after on a daily basis, every day you wake up, how to move with clarity, and most importantly, how you can achieve results. And we do that over the course of 5 core success principles, which I'm sure we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's jump into some of that because people are listening right now, and hopefully they are experiencing, I'll put it this way. One thing I love and what I do is I operate out of an abundant mentality. Okay. It's kind of why I put abundant fulfillment in the title. So I don't feel like anyone is competition who's taking something away from me. I feel like let's put everybody on, let's share as much as we can, because maybe something I say is not going to resonate, but something you say is going to resonate. So I'm excited about this because it's right in line with what this project is about. And I think that people are going to really be able to benefit from this. So let's talk about, you talk about the importance of addressing your life's GPS, but then you talk about setting clear goals. So you just kind of touched on the writing the vision, make it plain. Why is it so important to make sure those goals are clear as we're moving forward?
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question, right? So I'm going to try to condense and combine and give the information real quick and real sweet, because I know we got a time frame we're trying to stick to. What I tell people is this: until I got clear on my goal, in other words, until I got clear on where I want to go to and put that address in the GPS, every resource at my disposal, there's a 99% chance it's not going to be used properly. One of my favorite speakers in the world once said that if you don't know the reason for a thing, if you don't know the reason why a thing exists, there's a 99.9% chance you're going to somehow abuse or misuse it. That comes from the late, great Miles Monroe. So I don't know where I'm headed, and God has given me resources, right, and given me tools at my disposal. Like I said earlier, I don't know what to do with the money from my paycheck or my income tax when it comes in. I don't know that this should be used to help build my business and foundation or an invest. And in lieu of that, I may spend my money on video games. I may spend my money going out to clubs. I may spend my money buying clothes, trying to dress sharp, trying to wine and dine folks. Same thing with education. As kids coming onto this planet, we don't have any say over the education we receive from kindergarten to 12th grade. It's literally created and spoon-fed to us. But if I know my job was to be a motivational, impactful speaker, will that change the type of education I gobble down in the next coming years? Absolutely, right? So my education changes. I said it earlier, connections and relationships change. If I had some sort of idea, and I'm happily married now, but if I had a brass tacks idea of where I was going to based on my goals and dreams, the different types of women I dated in my past season, some of them women never would have got a phone number. Some of them women never would have went out for a bite to eat. It never would have been a Red Lobster dinner, a steak and shake, some shrimps. It never would have happened. Why? Because I would have had discernment to say, we're not on the same pathway. I'm driving a car. I don't need you riding shotgun because you don't add value to the journey. So when we get clear about our goals and dreams, number one, the resources change. We have better enlightenment of what to do with all the resources designed to get us to our fantastic finish line. If I don't know the reason for a thing, it's a chance I'm going to abuse and misuse it. And I don't realize those tools could be the very thing that's the difference between where I am today and where I should be placed at tomorrow.
Man, yeah, I just literally was having a conversation today with an organization. I'm looking at something. I have a goal that I'm setting for 2022 already. And the one thing I told them is that I know what my end goal is. So I need to know how to start and see if this is a fit where I need to put this in, because especially in business, man, I mean, I have seen, and I know I'm not the only one, there's always something new. There's always some app, some new resource, some new website. And if you don't know what your goal is, you'll be like, oh, I gotta do that. I gotta go do that. I gotta get this. And you start spending circles, wasting money, because like you said, you're misusing stuff. Not that any of those things are bad. They just may not be the fit for what you're doing because you weren't clear on your goal. So I hope people are getting this, man.
One more thing I'll add, the most valuable resource we have is time. And if I'm not clear on where I'm going, right, I can easily be distracted and waste my most valuable resource, which is time. I tell everyone, the one thing that we all have in common with canned goods and frozen goods and stuff locked inside our refrigerators and cabinets, everything in my household that's edible has an expiration date, right? If I don't go through and use it before the expiration date, it's no good to me or no good to anyone else. The thing I tell everyone I come in contact with is, you, my friend, have an expiration date. And understand that expiration date is not going to change. You don't know the day your expiration date is going to manifest, but your job is to get to your finish line and get your greatness out before your expiration date comes up and your time runs out.
That's right. Leave with the jar empty. Don't dial like a half empty bottle of mayonnaise. And anyway, sorry, I go off on tangents sometimes. Sorry about that. I know we just met, but that's just me. So let's talk about connections, man, because you talk about having the right connections and why that's important. And I try to tell people a lot as well about the connections, the people that how important our relationships and people are. So, and I know you talk about relationships, but let's talk about connections and why right now it's so important to a time to reevaluate those connections and make sure we have the right ones in place.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I learned from COVID-19 is everything has been changed, right? The lay of the land has been changed. And to be honest with you, I don't think some of these things are going to go back to normal. I think
agree.
Some of these changes have been so locked in stone because we've learned how to simplify, if that's such a word, how
it is now.
Things done at this stage of the game. I don't see things going back thanks to technology at this game. So one of the reasons why I say connections are important, I want you to think about how a GPS works, right? You put in the address, it pings the cell phone tower. That cell phone tower finds a satellite in outer space. And as long as I got that connection going on, as long as I got a strong enough Wi-Fi signal, my GPS can take me anywhere I want to go. The problem being is when I encounter a dead zone. And this is something I think a lot of people dealt with specifically in 2020, crossed over to 2021. A dead zone is a place or a location where you got a signal 1 second, but the next second you lose all your bars. That 5G drops down to 2G, drops down to no G. And now you are literally driving blind. There are some parking lot garages like that. The deeper you go, you lose the signal. Some elevators like that. I got you on the phone, I lose the signal. And so if I'm not careful, I can enter a dead zone and lose my connection and lose my way. So when I talk about connections, based on what address you put inside your life's GPS, one of the questions you got to ask yourself is, who should I be strategically connected to in this season that's going to help me get to my fantastic finish line quicker and faster? Meaning, Who are the coaches? Who are the mentors? What type of organization should I belong to strategically in this season? What type of education should I be devouring on a regular basis? And then we got to talk about the opposite, which is the dead zones. And I don't know about you, Ryan, but sometimes dead zones for me are my family and my friends. Just because they blood does not mean they got your best interests at heart.
Right,
some of the worst betrayals come from the folks closest to you. So I got to be clear about which family and friends or associates are dead zones where I give them my goal and give them my dream, and they give me 15 reasons why it can't work, but won't give me one reason why it can. For some of the folks listening, the dead zone may be the job. If your goal and dream requires 40 hours a week to get that dream off the ground, and you're spending 40 hours a week working for someone else, understand where your focus goes, your energy flows. What you water tends to grow. So if you're watering the seed of your goals and dreams once a week, but you're watering someone else's dream seed 40 hours a week, you shouldn't be confused or conflicted about why you're not getting closer to your finish line. It presents the dead zone. And then one more dead zone I'll throw out there is the lack of education, right? Because understand, for us to be super successful, we must always be in the growth process. There's always information needed to get us to our finish line. I'm a huge Napoleon Hill fan. He says it's not education that's going to make you success. He says it's specialized knowledge. That means your job is not to be a jack of all trades and a master of none, because many people are jack of all trades, but that only works knowledge-wise if they're on Jeopardy. It's the Daily Double, and God rest Alex Trebek's soul. You know, he says, who won the war of 1812, right? There's a lot of information that I've gotten over the years that has not created a dollar, has not put a cent in my bank account, but that's what happens when we get forced knowledge versus specialized knowledge. So the idea being is, I got to be clear about who I should be connecting with. As something me and Les Brown has talked about, we say success is 50% what you know, 50% who you know, and more importantly, what do they know about you? What's your gift? What's your talent? What's your expertise? What are you good at doing so I can purposely plug you into opportunities and help open doors for you? And can I avoid those dead zones where I lose my signal and inadvertently lose my way?
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Last thing I want to talk about, because I thought this was very interesting, and those who want to know all this information, how to get the book, and we'll tell you, you've got a free offer in a minute, but you talk about checking your history log on a regular basis as a best way to ensure you're making progress. You know, most people, you know, I won't say most people, but, you know, history log can get you in trouble sometimes. So let's talk about the history log and how you're going to bring that into this and why that's important.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because the story I'm going to give you is about someone whose history log blatantly got them in trouble, right? So an old buddy of mine got caught cheating on his wife many, many years ago, right? And the way he got caught cheating wasn't because she got into a cell phone, wasn't because she saw some racy DMs, right? Wasn't because she found cell phone messages or receipts lying in the car or anything like that. He got caught using the GPS history log. My buddy and his wife had 2 vehicles. And the problem being is the vehicle they would take will be based on the workload for the day. So this week he took the SUV. Next week he may take the 4-door sedan. He worked at a job that never gave overtime. I mean, it never gave overtime. And so he comes home and tells his wife, we just picked up this new client. We're going to need every able-bodied person to come in for mandatory overtime for the next 2 to 3 months. So there's going to be some nights I get home late. There's going to be some weekends I'm gone. And she didn't think anything about it, right? And so he's been taking the SUV for about a good 30 days. And then on day 31, he swaps cars and takes the 4-door sedan, leaving the SUV in the garage. And the wife didn't work, but her pastime hobby, she loved to go to little antique stores. And there was this antique store she went to a few months back, but she couldn't remember the name of the place, right? She was just happening to drive past, caught at the corner of her eye. She forgot the name. She forgot the street address. She called up a bunch of her friends that was into the hobby, asked them if they knew. They didn't know. She got on Google, tried to search, couldn't figure it out. And at last she said, well, I know where I was at when I went past it. So let me go into the car, pull up the GPS and access the history log, right? Because I can pretty much pinpoint the location based on where I was going that day. Starts up the car, pulls up the GPS, jumps into the history log, and you better believe the address she was looking for was locked right there inside. The only problem was simply this. There were a bunch of addresses there she had never seen before, right? There were some addresses to some nice, expensive 5-star restaurants she had never been to. Addresses to some nice, fun dating locations like putt-putt golf, laser tag, things like that she had never gone to. And of course, the listeners ain't figured it out. Yeah, there was a couple addresses locked inside for some nice, expensive hotels that she definitely never gone to. Now, the reason why I'm dropping this nugget on your listeners is simply this. I'm not here for all the women listeners to say, I heard this guy named Karim Ellis, right? And he taught me how to catch my man cheating 101. That's not the reason we're having this conversation.
Right.
The reason we're having this conversation is if I were to step through this screen right now for all your listeners and pop up wherever you may be and hold out my hand and say, I wanna take a look at your life's history log. I want to take a look at your life's history log so I can check the addresses that's been locked inside. Would I find that you, my friend, are guilty of cheating on your goals and dreams because you spending all your time chasing everybody else's agenda? The real reason why people don't achieve dynamic success is not because they don't set an address in the GPS. It's not because they don't know how to move with clarity or stay connected and dodge dead zones. The real reason why people don't achieve dynamic success is they spend all their time cheating on their goals and dreams by chasing everybody else's agenda. The history log will let me know where you are spending a majority of your time on a daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly basis. The goal being, when I check your history log, there should be more address showing me where you're going to that revolves around your goals and dreams versus a history log filled of addresses from everybody else.
I love that, man. I love that. That was, yeah. If you don't know where you've been, man, that was good stuff, man. So listen, I know people are like, I need this book, and hopefully not because they want to read how to cheat and catch the man, but you know, they want to know how to get to this.
Responsible.
Right. So fellas are like, they didn't turn the show off, man. I'm sorry, but how can you have an offer? You want to let them know how to get a free chapter of the GPS My Success book? So tell them how they can do that.
Absolutely. So if you send an email to info, I-N-F-O, at KarimEllis.com, info at KarimEllis.com, I'll get my assistant to shoot you out a free copy of one of the chapters of the book. So that way you can test drive the material before you decide to go to Amazon and buy. If you want to bypass the test drive because you believe there's value, obviously, in what we're talking about today, you can jump on over to Amazon.com and type in the words GPS My Success or type in Karim R Ellis. It'll come up. The book's on sale for under $20, depending on whether you want the hard copy or the softback copy, or the ebook is up for I think $7, I think, at this point in the game. So you got your choice, a hard copy, soft copy, if you just want to go directly to Amazon.com and check it out that way.
And that's Karim, Karim. So for those who are
Ellis. So info at KarimEllis.com. I'm glad you said that because my name has been butchered over the years.
Hey, my name is Greene, and I mean, how many times I tell people it's Greene with the E? They forget that E too. So I understand the name thing, brother. So last thing I want to touch on, because you hold a very distinguished title, an honor, I'll even say, is that you host the motivator himself, Mr. Les Brown's Monday Night Motivational Call.
Yes.
Talk to the listeners how they can, take advantage of this call, how you even came to do this, and just what it's like working with the motivator himself, Mr. Les Brown.
Wow. So what I'll say is this. I don't give principles that I don't live by. And I know a lot of people can say a lot of cliche stuff that sounds great. Right. There's a spirit of conviction that comes over me if I'm teaching something that I'm not actually applying. So the way I met Les Brown was based on the principles inside the book. I made it my address to go after that. I wanted him to be my mentor, right? Wow. So once I got locked in on that, I had to move with clarity. I had to dodge distractions. I had to stay connected to people close to a circle to figure out how I could connect with him. I had to dodge all the naysayers, the haters that were the dead zones. I had to be willing to recalculate a few times to figure out if my route was working. And then I had to check the history log to make sure I was putting my attention squarely where it needed to be. So I met Mr. Brown. I met him originally at one of his speaking opportunities, right? He had a speaking contest. I got up there with a custom designed, tailored message strictly for him. It caught his attention, got a standing ovation, and then that's where the connection was made. A spiritual principle I'll drop real quick that I love so much is your gifts will make room for you and put you before powerful people.
Right.
Your gifts will make room for you and put you before powerful people. That means there's certain doors, certain individuals, certain arenas I don't have access to until I use my God-given gift of talent, which obviously for me is the gift of communication. That's what opened up that door and created a friendship and a mentorship, and then placed me in this season at the helm of hosting his Monday night motivational call as a Les Brown Platinum speaker. Now, the calls run every Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern time. The season for this year is called Taking Back Your Territory. This is for any individual that felt like they had to walk away from some things in 2020, had to put some stuff down, had to put some goals and dreams on the shelf. If the government told you that you was non-essential, I'm here to tell you that 2021 is all about how to take back the territory you physically had to walk away from in the year of 2020. And so we're giving all types of powerful messages. The calls generally last about an hour with open Q&A. If you want to be part of that, it is absolutely free, being a part of that powerful brand and tribe. The only thing you need to do, my friend, is send a text message. Text the word GPS 2020, GPS 2020 to the number 484848. And what'll happen is you'll be sent out a text blast that has the call-in information and the access code. We drop it every Monday night at 8 o'clock. Lives are being changed, greatness is being created, and the whole goal is to help individuals take back the territory they walked away from, walking into the promised land in 2021.
Man, awesome. This has been a great show. Thank you. You dropped so much on us in such a little time. So I hope people are getting, got it all. If you don't, that's the beautiful thing about a podcast. Hit replay, listen to it all again, right? So I'm going to leave the final words to you. You can give out any final contact information and leave us with any final words, man.
Absolutely. So if you want to connect with me on social media, you can jump over to Instagram and look for Karim Ellis 1. I'm on pretty much every social media channel. So it's on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm Googleable. So if you do a Google search and type in Karim R Ellis, you'll find everything from the imagery, the videos, the memes, you name it, it's there. If you're looking for a powerhouse speaker for your next event, send me a message again at info@KarimEllis.com or go to the website, KarimEllis.com. And then the last parting words I'll give to everyone here comes out of GPS My Success. I want you to understand that your life, for all intents and purposes, mirrors a GPS. But my friend, it's up to you to determine what address you want to go after in this day and season of 2021. Just make sure that you put in the right address. Just make sure you move with clarity. Make sure you're willing to make the right connections, dodge dead zones, recalculate as needed, and check your history log on a regular basis. And I have no doubt in my mind that you will hear those powerful words. You have arrived at your destination. My name's Karim Ellis, breakthrough strategist, motivational speaker, man of impact, signing out.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. For those who are watching, definitely take advantage. Reach out to Karim. If you're interested in getting a copy of the Make It Matter book, go to www.themakeitmatterproject.com. We thank you and be blessed. Make it matter.